Hi, I'm Rachel Morris of thesinglebite.com, and all my recipes are vegetarian and almost all of them are also vegan. Today I'm going to be making a butternut squash and apple soup. It's so simple, very warming for the winter, and it's very few ingredients. So come along with me and I'll show you how to make it. So let's go over what we're going to have in our soup. It's not a lot of ingredients. The main thing obviously is our butternut squash. You can buy it already cut up squash. And then what I like to do is also cut it up a little bit smaller so that it cooks faster. Because, you know, we're busy. We don't have all the time to be sitting around waiting for our soup to be done. So, secondly, we've got our potato, which is going to add a nice velvety texture to the soup. I use a red potato. You could use a Yukon Gold. You want to use those because they're a waxier potato, so that's going to give it a different consistency. And then we're going to have our apple, which is also going to give it a nice little bit of a tang. You can do it without, but it adds a really nice flavor, and I've got a Fuji apple. It's one of my favorites. We also, of course, have onion. I always start a soup with onion that we're actually going to sweat it down with a little bit of salt. We've got our vegetable broth. We're going to add in some light coconut milk, which is going to add a really nice creamy consistency, and it's awesome. So now we're going to get started on our cooking. I've got our onions. The first step is we're going to let these sweat. Put them in a little bit of vegetable oil in the pan over low to medium heat. Add in some of our salt. This is going to help bring out some of the juices in the onion, which will flavor our soup. Don't want to go too crazy on the salt in the beginning because we're using a vegetable broth which has sodium in it. So it's always good to, at the end of your soup, taste it and adjust to taste. Like, you don't want to go too nuts because you can't take it out once you put it in. So I'm doing half of a normal recipe, what I would make. I've got here about half a pound of butternut squash, one medium red potato, and then you could use a small apple. We're going to add in our vegetable broth. I'm going to do about half of this. This is a 32 ounce or 4 cups. Now we're going to turn this up to high and bring this up to a boil. Now this is going to cook for about 20 minutes, give or take a little bit, just because it really depends on how small you've cut all your vegetables up. So we're going to let that cook, and then we're going to puree it at the end. Our pureed soup, which we are going to return to our pot here. Now we're going to add in our yummy, creamy coconut milk. However much you want to use, it's really up to you. Just do a little at a time and taste it, because, like I said, once you put it in, you can't take it out. Start with that, and we're going to stir. This is the final finished product. Didn't take that much time, not a lot of work. Chop an onion, chop up a couple other things, throw it in there, and you're set. Doesn't take that long to cook, and you can freeze it as well. I love eating my soup with bread because I'm obsessed with bread. So I'd rather have bread than a spoon. So there you have it. Easy butternut squash apple soup. Few ingredients. It's not going to set you back much money. It's awesome.